as I said, we're going to break up the park into a couple of sections and do it piece by piece. Today, we are going to be exploring this section here. This center section is where Zojoji is. This is going to be kind of a wooded area up here, famous for plum blossoms, also Toshogu, and the second shogun's grave, which was located here. His grave was actually here, but this was all a funerary complex that was destroyed. But anyways, let's take a look. Okay, so first we're going to run across the street to one of the little secret spots here. This is Myojo-in. It's a temple associated with the Tokugawa family. And they have these nice fireproof plaster walls. You'll see a couple of these near Zojoji. Originally, Zojoji would have been completely closed off by these kind of plaster walls. This temple was rebuilt after the war, so it's actually in really nice condition. I don't think it reflects the Edo period style, but you can see the Tokugawa family crest there. And there it says Myojo-in. A couple things of interest here. These stone lanterns, these are actually Edo period holdovers. Again, you can see the family crest there. There's a quiet little graveyard off to the side. I believe these are the priests of the temple, but don't quote me on that. And there's some just regular people's graves off in the distance there. You can probably hear the cicadas crying. As we get into the actual park, they're gonna be super loud. So there's some other important cultural properties here. Sign here, it says built in 1796. What this is a kura. So a fireproof storage warehouse. Very typical kura construction. I'm not going to go into that in detail, but it's basically to store important documents and important items. There's this one too. You'll find kura all over Japan, even all over Tokyo, in various states of, various conditions. These are some of the best preserved I've ever seen, actually. Okay, let's head across the street. Actually, before we do that, I want to point something out. So you can see that large retaining wall there, and there's a big hill with lots of trees on it. So in the Edo period, and indeed up until the war, all of Shiba Park was heavily wooded, just like this. That large hill is not just a normal hill. It's actually a kofun, so a keyhole-shaped burial mound. So it's a tomb dating back to, I believe, the 5th century. There's a sign, we'll take a look at that. But this would have been the grave of a very important chieftain in the area. This area was much closer to the bay at that time, so he probably had control of a lot of fishing villages and access to the sea. So probably a pretty rich guy. So some of these trees are cherry blossoms. I think this one I'm looking at here is. But Shiba Park isn't really known for cherry blossoms as much as plum blossoms. So over here, there are two, you can see, kind of circular shaped islands. Those are all plum blossom trees. They bloom in February. They're very old. They're from the Edo period, so they don't bloom too intensely. But they're still very nice. They have a good smell. And right here, you can see this hill. So that's what I was pointing out before. So you can see it's not a very big hill, but actually it is big. It goes up way over this. This initial layer here is actually a kaizuka. So this is a shell mound. So in the Jomon period, the original inhabitants of Japan, the Jomon people, who were kind of hunter-gatherers, they would throw out shells that they'd been eating and then just make a big hill out of it. Later on in the 5th century, the late Yayoi people, who were kind of state builders in Japan, these are people who came over originally from the Korean peninsula, mainland Asia. When they started building the large keyhole tombs for their rulers, they must have seen this big hill here and thought, oh, hey, it's a big hill, so we can make our grave for our leader even bigger by putting it on top of a big hill. And you can hear those cicadas going off right now. So now we are on top of the kaizuka, the shell mound. Kind of flattens off here into a nice little area. You can sit over there and chill out. And then over here, now you can sort of see the Kofun, which is that second hill over there. There's a Shinto shrine over here, dedicated to the hill. So in the Edo period, I don't think they knew this was a Kofun. They probably just thought it was a big hill. But this is a nice little shrine. Why don't we go in there and take a look at it? But this is an Inari shrine, so foxes are sacred to Inari. So you can see lots of little foxes there. And from here we can look down at the shell mound. And here's the sign, Shiba Maruyama Kofun. So Shiba is the park, of course, and Maruyama is the name of this particular Kofun. I don't know why. Actually, maybe I do know why. Maruyama means round mountain, so probably because of like the perfect shape of the mountain, the Edo period people probably thought that's a good name for it. So just from this sign here, the mound is believed to be the tomb of one of the most powerful and wealthy families in Minami Musashi, that's the old name for this area, who had sources of revenue in the rice fields developed in the lowlands near here, and held control of traffic routes from the south to the north. So yeah, this is actually the largest kofun in Tokyo. So more stairs. And here we come to the top. Almost the top. I hope those cicadas don't make this video annoying to listen to or watch. Alright, just a few more steps. Alright, yo. I'm on a kofun, bitch. Little seats to chill and hang out here. I was just up here 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine was visiting from out of town. I asked him, hey man, have you ever drank on a kofun before? He's like, no sir, can't say that I have. So we got some beer at the convenience store, kicked it up here, drank some beers and caught up. Now in the Edo period, because this hill is pretty high actually. In the Edo period, up on top of this hill was a 5-story pagoda, and it was kind of a symbol of the Shiba area because this is, I believe, the highest point in Minato Ward. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's not, because that hill over there looks taller than this. But from up here, you can see the main hall of Zojoji over there, kind of peeking out. And that section over there is closed off. I've always wanted to go down there and explore, but you can't. And then from up here, if we look down below, okay, down there, maybe you can get a glimpse of the back of Toshogu. So that's a shrine dedicated to the first shogun, Tokugawa Ieyasu. And to the left of that, you see that flat area. I don't know if that flat area down there. That whole flat area was the funerary temple of the second shogun, Tokugawa Hidetada. It was all burned down. There's one gate that has been restored and is in really good condition that is there. The rest of it was razed. And if you look, actually in Sayama, which is in, I think, Tokurozawa, Saitama Prefecture, there are 2 or 3 structures that they restored and moved over there. So let's go down and take a look at Toshogu. Over there you can see a little bridge, and follow this waterway, kind of stops there. But you can see here that there's this bridge, but there's no water. But there used to be water here. There used to be a moat that encircled all of the Shiba temple complex, and that moat was called Sakuragawa, the Sakura River. And it doesn't really exist anymore, but you will find traces of it, like just random bridges in the place of, just sitting in a place where there's no water. And a lot of people walk past and like, what the hell is this? Well, it used to be a river. And you'll also find random stones all over the place. These are from destroyed buildings and things like that. They just kind of repurpose the stones as decoration. Over here you can see these. Maybe they were part of a fence, or maybe an actual walking path. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, you'll find these all over the place. So here we are at Toshogu. So Tosho is Tokugawa Ieyasu's posthumous name. It means like shining prince of the east. And Gu just means major shrine. That waterway I talked about before used to flow through here. This actually is Edo period, and you'll see this side of a bridge in pictures from late Edo period all the way up to prior to the war. These komainu, so the dogs that protect the entrance of a Shinto shrine. Yeah, that's a better angle. These are also from the Edo period, I believe. On either side of this is parking space. I guess that's a way for the shrine to make money. Parking is kind of a commodity in Tokyo. There are a lot of parking spaces, so you can charge a premium for that. So it's probably a stable source of income for the temple, rather than relying on donations. People throw in, a coin or two, because it's a kind of an unknown shrine. I think locals who live in Minato Ward, who come to the park, they probably know about it, but a lot of other people don't, and probably, even if they come to the park, they don't come here. So it's pretty quiet. I'd mentioned Shiba Park isn't famous for cherry blossoms, but this place actually is, this shrine. There's another pile of rocks. Over here you can see kind of stacks of stones, all of the same shape. I don't know if those were for a walkway or whatnot. Here's another little stone walkway, and it actually doesn't even lead anywhere. It leads right to this wall here. That's a house over there, but here you can see the Edo period ishigaki, the stone walls, the foundation of the temple. So this is really typical Edo period stonework. It's really beautiful, and I'm glad it survived. Oh, there's a little cat. There are a lot of cats on this side of Shiba Park. Here are some stone bases for something, definitely Edo period. Where that cat is, meow, meow. Say hi to the Japanese fans. You can see that big tree, big ass tree. That is a cherry blossom tree, and it was planted by the third shogun, Tokugawa Iemitsu, who idolized his grandfather, Ieyasu. Ow! What happened to your tail? All throughout Minato Ward, but especially in Shiba Park, you'll find these signs that say, "May peace prevail on earth," or just "peace on earth," because Minato Ward was given the title of like the City of Peace, and I think that was a reaction to, not a reaction to, but maybe caused because it comes from all the destruction of so many kind of priceless monuments and symbols of Edo and Tokyo in the area. So as you approach, this might also be Edo period, I'm not sure. Looks like it. But yeah, you'll want to come up here, ritually purify your hands before you approach the shrine itself. And so there's the shrine. It's really nice at night when they kind of don't really illuminate it, but it's got those lanterns, and there's open sky above it, so you get some moonlight. Yeah, it's really nice. Look, boys and girls, it's a real Edo period well, kind of hiding here on the side. So the original shrine was, as you can assume, destroyed in the war, but they rebuilt it very nicely. But it's made out of concrete, not stone. So So if it gets bombed again, it should survive. And over here, maybe most people miss this. There's this funky little dude just kind of hanging out in the bushes over here. I've always wondered what he was all about, but whatever. Oh, it's 5 o'clock. I don't know if you can hear that music. So at 5 o'clock they play that music, and that is I've heard traditionally that's to tell the school kids go home. Don't stay out any longer. It's a big ass fucking crow. I don't want to fuck with that thing. It'll fuck me up. And I just noticed this parked next to this nice stone wall and a bunch of garbage or something. I'm not a car guy, not usually, but there's a Fairlady Z. Kind of badass. Reminds me of my childhood. So if any of you guys are car buffs, there's a little Japanese sports car porn for you. Alright, so when we were up on the Kofun, I had pointed out a flat field down below where the funerary complex of the second shogun was. It was kind of it was very architecturally unique, and maybe this will give you an impression of how large it was. This would have all been covered in buildings and lanterns. Over there you can see the restored gate, the main gate into the temple complex, and we'll get a better look at that in a minute. So we need to get out of the sunlight. So this is an eternal flame. So they call it the flame of peace. Can't really see it because it's daytime, but it is indeed flaming. So as I mentioned, all of this was destroyed by the Americans in World War II, and Zojoji, whose main complex is located over there, didn't have enough money to restore the shogun's funerary complexes, which would have all been over here. So they sold off that part over there to the city of Tokyo, and they developed it into the park that it is today. And then they sold this one section here, from here all the way behind it, to the Prince Hotel, and then on the other side of Zojoji, on the other side, they sold it off also to the Prince Hotel. So there's two hotels here. You can see that gold up there. Looking beyond it, there's a stairway. So there was no stairway in the Edo period. There's a demon. This stairway is actually was built when they built the hotel, and they put in a parking lot. So that's actually a parking lot there. But they literally took the ground that was down here, and they moved it up there. So there's actually what you can see up there. So at the top of the stairway, most people don't even notice this. You'll see these stones. Like I said, there are random stones all over Shiba Park. There's some stones there. And then these larger stones here. over here. There you can see some other stones. This is actually part of the waterway that I talked about before that goes around the park. So after you entered through that main gate down there, you would have crossed a small bridge and the Sakuragawa moat. There's some information about the excavation, but it's all in Japanese. And so going forward, you'll see on the pathway, there's this area that looks like they were doing some construction and they just didn't do a very good job. Or, and then this asphalt goes into the grass for seemingly no reason. And this is actually not construction. This is completely on purpose. So that gate that we passed through earlier, there was a gate there, but it was a different type. It's a Nitenmon. This gate was actually located farther in here. Just find another spot like that. Again, this is not construction. This is completely on purpose. So this marks the site of the Chokugakumon gate. So this gate is actually still in existence. It's in Saitama Prefecture at another temple. And it's very unique compared to the other Tokugawa graves. So if you look at my article on Tokugawa Hidetada's grave, you can see a picture of it. It's pretty cool. I can't really get a sense of the size, but anyways, it's quite a distance in. This particular gate is the Imperial Scroll Gate. So what happens is after the shogun dies, the emperor in Kyoto gives him a posthumous name, and he writes it out in calligraphy on a large sheet of paper or something, and sends it to the craftsmen in Edo who are building the temple. And then they transfer the emperor's calligraphy onto a large decorative plaque that sits at the top of the gate. And at the top of that, and that basically announces the name of the temple. So in theory, when you walk past this gate, you're actually entering the grave. So the name of his posthumous name and the name of this funerary complex is Daitokuin. Some people read it Taitokuin, and it's not really clear which is correct. Okay, and so as we go farther in, you'll come to this circular island here. Oh look, more stones. People just hang out here and sunbathe or have picnics, play frisbee. But the actual reason this was left intact is because it's like a slight mound, and at the center of this is where Hidetada's actual grave was. It was put in an octagonal building, again unique among the graves of the shoguns, and you can see it in my article. So at this, he was buried in a large octagonal wooden building here, in a wooden urn. The other guys are in copper and stone. His was wood, and as such, it was completely obliterated in the war. Also on the site was the grave of his wife. She was buried in a separate temple building, but before, like in the 1960s or 1959 or something like that, they consolidated all of the shogun's graves into a single graveyard behind Zojoji. You can't see it from here, but when we look at Zojoji, we'll take a look at that. But it's right on the other side of these trees over there. And at that time, they interred the bones of Hidetada and his wife in the same funerary urn. That's the Prince Hotel there. And from the other side of that island, you get one of the more unique views of Tokyo Tower. Sun setting, kind of bright, so you can't really see. It's kind of dark. Sorry about that, but Shogunai. Okay, so like I said, because of the parking lot, that section of the park was raised up on high ground, so we're coming back down. Let's go this way. Here on this stairway, you can see some of these stones like we saw over at Toshogu. So these are Edo period leftovers. They may be the original steps, or they may be, I don't know, foundations of, probably foundation stones. Because like this one has like a weird shape on it, so I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's intentional, so that must be functional. Maybe it's for making it interlock with something else. This one here, you can also see, maybe you can see, has a raised bit, just like that other one. And then down here, this one also has those grooves. And so this area takes us over here. So again, right there is the Kofun and the Kaizuka. And we're back down to the ground, and there's that flat area where Hidetada's tomb was, as well as his wife. And now we've kind of come full circle. So yeah, again, the Kofun is up there, behind those retaining walls. There's a modern wall at the back of Toshogu, but down below there you can sort of see, not really, but the stone walls. And then there's more Edo period stonework over here, and this marks the perimeter of Toshogu. But you can see those large interlocking stones. Alright guys, so across the street here. It was hot out. Wasn't a lot of trees in the main park area, but I hope you enjoyed this little stroll through that section of Shiba Park. The next section is going to be of Zojoji, the main temple of the area. And this probably ran a lot longer than I hoped, but I don't think that could be avoided because it's big. It's a really big park. But at any rate, I hope you guys had fun. I had fun making this for you. Now that it's 6:30, something like that, I think I deserve a drink to chill out and relax. All right, I'll see you next time.